Hey, 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 everybody. It is Karla Silver and Deb Erickson here. I'm going to introduce her in a second and just double checking as Facebook always moves our cheese and moves things around. I want to make sure we're actually live. And we are. Hey, everybody. I have just been so excited for today for a bajillion reasons, but mostly because I'm going to introduce you in a second, but we had our guest here out on one of our events right when the pandemic hit. And our first live event, not in a hotel, online, was called Profit in Your PJs. Do you remember? That was such a perfect title for that moment in time. We changed it. It changed into Top Producer Roadmap over the subsequent 2 years that we were in lockdown. But we invited Deb to join us for Profit in Your PJs, and she seriously blew everyone away. Absolutely blew everyone away. If you're with me, my screen is in Facebook. My screen is stopped. If you could just make a comment, let me know that you can hear me. That would be awesome, so that I know that you guys are here. And she just blew everyone away, and partly because you guys know I teach automation, I teach list building, I teach sales funnels, I teach recruiting, I teach all the things, like I can teach you all the things, but what really holds people back is the stuff that's going on in here. And the reason why Deb blew everyone away is because she focuses on the stuff that's going on in here. Thank you, Courtney. I appreciate that you can hear me. So she comes to us. She's the founder and CEO of the I Can Institute, and she's literally changed tens of thousands of people's lives in the network marketing industry by helping us get out of our own way. So I'm just going to step back. Deb, come out here, introduce yourself. You probably can do a much better job than I can. And then I've got a couple questions for you. And then I can't wait to share our tool that we're going to share with our listeners today. Come on out here.
Hey, you know what, Karla?
Muted. Oh, you're not muted. So hold on a second. Go ahead.
I love playing with you because I honestly feel like we are the perfect 1-2 punch for this industry. You teach all the stuff to make things work well. And what I do is help people get into alignment so they'll actually use the stuff. It doesn't really matter what you're doing, whether you're trying to build a business, you're trying to lose weight. It doesn't matter what the focus is. The key is, are you doing the stuff, right? Are you doing what you know you need to do? And mindset is what blocks that, right? Mindset is what gets in the way. And, I learned that early on. I was a top leader in the industry, and I noticed that there were some people that would just fly. They'd get in this industry and they just fly to the top. They would hit a certain point and get stuck. And then there were other people that could never get going at all. And what was the difference? Well, yeah, one group was doing the stuff, the other one wasn't. But then when I dug a little deeper, I realized there's something almost insidious happening, right? There, the doubts and the fears and the uncertainty and the judgment and the comparison and all of that goes on up here. What it does is it keeps us stuck in the same patterns and rhythms. Our business yo-yos, right? Back and forth. People would rank advance and then go back. And then they come to me and they're like, I don't know why I'm stuck. And I'm like, well, let's hear what you're saying to yourself. Let's hear what's going on up there. And what I discovered was that neuroscience gave us the down and dirty fixes, because otherwise, let's just be honest, you could be in therapy for decades. Right. And as a leader, you can't be a counselor to your people, but what's happening is our own past, our own fears, our own doubts, all of that is what's getting in the way. And so when we work together, you and me, right, when we put mindset and skill set and strategy together, it's like the perfect marriage. So yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I was going to ask you my very first question was going to be ask you how you got into this, but you just explained. What I'm interested in how did you develop all of this amazing expertise and
Mhm.
the neuroscience of how the brain
Right.
works.
First a framework. I was sexually abused and mentally abused, emotionally abused as a child. So I had my baggage, as so many people. I don't care whether you were bullied on the playground or you were raped. You've got stuff, right? That's part of the mechanism that's controlling everything. So I had my stuff. I was in therapy for years, got into network marketing. And what I realized myself was that my past was getting in the way. And so I kept thinking, well, if it's true for me, is it true for other people? And the more I talked to everybody on my team, the more I realized, okay, we got some issues. So I started coaching. And as I was coaching, right, I was using tools and techniques that I had gotten online. I'd learned tools and techniques that were like right now. It started out with like NLP kinds of things, and then I realized I needed more. I needed to give people more. And that's when I got hooked up with some of the big names in neuroscience, some of the big researchers who were finding ways for neuroscience to be applied really to personal development. And honestly, I fell in love because it was like these tools were transforming in moments. And I would look back and say, man, I've been in therapy for decades and not dealt with it. And I can get a tool, right, that I'm using right here, right now. It's changing everything in an instant. And whoo, I vote for that any day.
Well, and I know that this, guys, you can probably sense what's coming. This is why you blew everyone away at Profit in your PJs. Because I know that when people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, and we all, frankly, are places in all of our lives where we're not maybe not showing up at the gym consistently, or we're not eating healthily, or we're not doing what we need to do in our business. And it almost always, my experience is, it almost always stems from when you get down to why someone isn't taking action. And this is what we do in our coaching program, right? We figure out why people aren't, what's holding them back in various areas of their lives. But it always ends up being some sort of fear or doubt. And that those have very different flavors, right? There's a bunch of different kinds of fear and a bunch of different kinds of doubt. And I've watched you, Deb, just literally change people's lives.
So I agree with you. Fear, there's really two, I'm going to call them emotional set points, right? There's fear and love. And doubt fits on the fear spectrum. But you're right, it shows up in different ways, but it's usually a fear that's at the core and it's manifesting as doubt. And so you're right, if we can deal with the fears, if we can silence the fear center, then we can move into action with the power and passion and boldness that we want in our business. But here's the key, what so many people get on stage, so many top earners and big names, big energies say, feel your fear and do it anyway, just suck it up, cupcake. And here's, what I always used to do is sit in the audience and it would be like, okay, if I could, I would. If it was that simple, I would be doing it. I'm not doing it. And so what I realized was that it's a style. If you're a type A personality, you're a big, bold, you're an athlete, you know how to face your fear and do it anyway. You've been trained, or it's part of your personality. And that's probably like 1% of the population. But what about the rest of us? Well, the rest of us need a different tool. We have to have a tool that says, you know what, my fear is really big. And that's creating lots of doubts and comparisons and judgments and all this stuff. And before you know it, I'm frozen. Well, okay, so what do we do with that? Do you try to overcome it? Just like beat down the fear and do it anyway. It's like, okay, guys, I'm here to tell you that's not working. So instead, if you can silence fear, right? It's kind of like you put the fear center back to sleep where it belongs. Then all of a sudden your passion, your joy, your boldness, it shows up for you and you can move into action and do everything, Karla, that you're teaching people to do. Because you guys, this is not a tough business. It's not rocket science. It may be neuroscience, but it's not rocket science. We can, right? We can do this. Each and every one of us, we can do this. And Karla gives you all of the tools and the techniques and the strategies and the skill sets and all of that. There's nobody better on the planet that's teaching you that. Now, all we need to add to that, so in other words, you're going to pair it up, is some mindset work so that you can silence the fear center, move into action, silence the fear center, move into action. And when you get to the place where you can do that every day, multiple times a day, all of a sudden, you've changed the rhythm, you've changed the habits, you've changed the patterns. We were just talking before we got on, it's like happiness is a choice, success is a choice, action, it's a choice. But you can't make that choice when you are frozen in fear. We got to change that.
How does that translate? I know we need to get to the amazing tool that you're going to share with us, but how does that, I'm curious, how does that translate into confidence?
Right. So there is an argument, there are people out there that say, if you move into action, you will build your confidence. And I'm here to say, if that strategy has worked for you in the past, great, use it again. However, if it's not working for you, then what we want to do is silence the fear center, then move into action. And it's a different kind of confidence. You know, what I always say to people is, I am incredibly confident that no matter what happens in the world, I will find a way. Why? Because I've been able to do that over and over and over in my life. So my confidence is in my ability. It's not in the economy. It's not in the product line. It's not in my skill set. It's none of those things. It's that I can manage my mindset. And no matter what shows up in my life, I know how to deal with it because I know how to deal with everything that comes along with that situation. I know I can figure it out. That's incredible core confidence. That's not confidence in a skill set because,
right,
man, that can change in a heartbeat. The market can change in a heartbeat, and skill set.
And it has.
The skill set you had 6 weeks ago is pointless in the marketplace today. But when your confidence is in your core energy, your ability to manage your mindset and move yourself into action, now that is unshakable.
I love it. And I can hardly wait. So share.
Well, here's what I'd like to do today. It's really simple. I want to give you a stop sign. And here's what the stop sign does, right? This is, by the way, this is a tool for the conscious mind. Conscious mind is in charge of your day about 5% of the time. That means about 3 minutes an hour. But it's an important piece for us to really be able to manage. So the minute you feel icky, so yeah, I'm going to simplify this. It could be doubt, it could be fear, it could be hesitation, it could be overwhelm. Oh my goodness, we have so many names for everything that shows up that doesn't feel good. So when you start feeling icky, you start feeling, I'm going to call it the red zone. It's red zone. It's negative energy. It can be impatience. It can be irritation. It can be judgment. Anything that makes you go, ooh, I don't like how that makes me feel. The first thing you've got to be able to do is you got to stop, because you are tiptoeing into telling a story or reliving a memory or engaging in a conversation inside, right, that is going to cause you to sabotage your business, sabotage your success. We got to learn to stop it. So it's a simple tool. You can grab just your hand, see how the stop sign has a hand. So you can have your hand or you can have the stop sign. What you're going to do is you're going to bring it up to your face quickly and you're going to yell, stop. Okay, what it does, it's a pattern interrupt. Okay, so even if you're using your hand, stop, and you're going to do it as many times as you can until you can't continue the conversation. Stop, 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 stop. And all of a sudden you're kind of like, oh yeah, what was I thinking? You've interrupted the pattern. You stopped going down the dark path. And in this moment, when you've stopped, now you can pivot. And I love to physically turn my body, and I'm turning my back to the red zone, to the story, to the negative, to the fear, to the doubt, all that stuff. I'm pivoting, and I'm saying, I'm going to choose something new here, a new path, a new mindset, a new thought, a new belief, a new action. So as you stop and you pivot, you can either conjure up your own new core belief. I got this. I can do this. I'm amazing. I'm unstoppable, right? You could do that. Or if you have access, right, to one of my apps, what you can do is just log in, right? All you got to do is log in and you can listen to a neural tool that will shift the energy immediately. One of my favorites is called "I'm the Boss." I'm the boss of my mind. And it's 4 minutes long. It's upbeat music, right? It's fun. It's powerful. And what it's doing is creating that pivot moment. Because Karla, the truth is, we all have a seed of greatness. We all have living inside of us this unstoppable ball of energy moving towards the things we want to create in our lives. All we got to do is knock off the negative, stop it, pivot, and re-engage, right? Reignite that energy that it's like we know we're unstoppable. And so these are tiny little tools that are available in every single thing I do, that basically give you the power of the moment. I want you to have a power right here, right now, to not get sucked into the old stories. Make sense?
It makes all the sense in the world. I actually did a version of this. I was trying to learn golf. And we all know how frustrating, well, we've been told that golf is frustrating. So I kept telling myself every time I start, well, and I have a whole story behind it, right? Like there's a whole story about when I was young and I was trying to play tennis, and somebody told me I would never going to be good at tennis. And then it happened again in my 20s when I tried to do paddle. And I decided, like my brain decided that I just wasn't good at sports where you had to hit a ball.
Yeah.
But
Sport.
I decided that I wanted to go to the ball again and learn golf. And I just kept telling myself I am an amazing golfer. I wasn't, but I was, and every time I messed up or didn't, miss the ball entirely, I am an amazing golfer. So I was doing a version of this. I like this better because I just slid from that negative thought into a positive thought, and I had to redo it, a million times. Well, we have to do it a million times anyway with golf. But I turned out to be a pretty okay golfer. Not great, not anything, but I'm not embarrassed to get out on the golf course. And so I love this idea of just making a full pattern interrupt by something that is kind of shocking, like stop, is kind of shocking, and then replacing that thought with something that is of benefit, whether you're an amazing golfer or you love writing emails. I tell myself that every day. I love writing emails, whatever it is, right? That is an empowering position. So, question: I don't think we always know when we are going down the rabbit hole. Because that's a tricky thing, because we have these thoughts that we've had for a long time, and then we're not in act. I can see, like, oh, if I'm not taking this action for 2 weeks, there must be something in my way. But how do you identify that?
That's brilliant. That's a brilliant question. So that's part of the work we do, right? That's part of the mindset training we're doing, is how to catch it faster. How to catch it faster. Because the key is, you're right, we have all run patterns for so long that they become our norm, meaning they feel normal to us. It feels natural and normal to go to the negative place, to go to the doubtful place, to activate the fear center, right? It's like you've lived with it 30, 40, 50 years. And so, of course, it feels normal to you. So that's why I said anytime it feels icky, and it's like, let's not define it in such a way that you have to spend lots of time figuring out what is this. It's just like, yeah, this doesn't feel good to me. So how do you know? Well, here's the key. You got to breathe. You got to breathe, because we're on automatic pilot reacting. And what we're doing is we're trying to compensate and overreact to stuff. But if you just stop yourself for 1 second and ask yourself, does this feel good, or does this feel icky? Do I like the way this feels, or do I not like it? Do I want to do more of this, or do I want to do less of this? It's like all you're trying to do is just get the simplest yes or no, right? Green zone, I want to do more of this. Red zone, I want to do less of this. So in the early days, trying to define it exactly, we do less of that. And we simply are trying to find out if it feels good and I want to repeat it or I don't. I mean, that's why I said icky. I don't like the way this feels. I don't like it when I'm impatient. And impatience, by the way, any negative emotion at all, guess what it's doing? It's slowing you down. You're putting the brakes on your business. You go into the red zone, your brakes are on. How much the brakes are on is based on how big the negative energy is and how intense it is. But when I'm impatient standing in line somewhere, guess what I'm doing? I got brakes on. I got the brakes on. I'm stopping my progress. And when I'm standing in line and I'm loving my life and I'm appreciating everything, I'm listening to my Neuro Tools because they're with me all the time. My energy is flowing. Guess what I'm doing? I'm moving. I'm moving the way I want to go. So it's in the early days, what I like to say to people is just stop multiple times a day. Take a breath and ask yourself, how does this feel? How's this feel? Because your feelings lead you there faster than trying to analyze your thoughts. The truth is you're feeling something because you were thinking something, but sometimes that's a lot to try to figure out. But your feelings, if you just stop and breathe, you'll know, feel good to you or feel bad to you.
I love that. I love that because it takes practice on both sides, right? It takes practice to identify when you are feeling icky because I don't always notice it because I'm busy doing, right? Well, I'm sure we all like, oh, we got to take the kids to school and then we got to go visit the blah, blah, blah. And we've got this and that and the other. And we tend to be just in our heads instead of present in here. So that is a fantastic practice to develop both on identifying when we're not feeling great and then solving it over time because these are the things that are holding people back in their business. And I'm about business here. In your business, there's different areas I know that are, I always like, how can I play a bigger game? Like, how can I up level? And sometimes I don't know the answer to that. And so I tend, and people, me included, tend to shrink at that point. Oh my gosh, this is so valuable. So I know we've got some really cool stuff for our audience. So let's talk about it.
We're going to team up. We are going to team up. And what we're doing as we team up is we are going to create a playbook together, right? And the playbook, right, is a plan. It is a plan to couple, right, all kinds of digital assets with mindset. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to figure out that we're going to answer the big questions. The big questions are, who am I that people want to join my team? And the second one is, where do I find people? Who are they? And where do I find them? And when I find them, what do I say to them? And when I find them and I know what to say to them, how do I get them to say yes to my offer? How do I convince, right? And get the energy moving. And then once I do that and I create a funnel, I create all the stuff that Karla is putting together for me. Once I create all that, how do I get people in it on a regular basis so I got enough numbers? A lot of questions, right? A whole lot of questions. So here's the key. What we're going to do, we're going to do a 90-minute little training together, and we are going to create a very specific playbook so that people can come in and say, I want to promote this one thing, this product, the business, whatever it is. I have something I want to create. I want to promote. I want to get out into the world. Great. Let's put together, just like a coach would, let's put together a playbook. Let's figure out what your assets are, who you want to approach, what you want to say, all of those things. We're going to answer all those questions. And then here's the really fun thing. After you answer the question and say, well, this is the person I want to attract, we're going to check out, do exactly what you and I just said. We're going to check out, where's your mindset around that? Where's your feeling around that? On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you can and will approach 10 of these people a day? Right. And we're going to check it out because what most people do is they set a goal, they design a plan, but they don't believe it. They're not in harmony with it. They're terrified of it. And so then they don't execute, they sabotage. They find excuses. Well, I'm not doing it because, right, I had to get the kids ready for school. And it's like, no. You're not doing it because you're terrified that you're not enough to approach that individual. Let's deal with that so that they're in action. So this 90-minute playbook creation time, right, is our opportunity to play together to give people great content, to design a great plan, check their mindset and see where their mindset is so they can launch a fall, right? A fall to remember. That's the key. We want to set people up to have the most extraordinary second half of 2020 possible.
This is going to be so good because it does couple both sides, all the things, which is me, but the support of that is in our minds and what we do. And then again, it's the number one thing that holds us back from achieving our goals. And we want you, Deb and I want you so much to rank up, make more money, most importantly, then have more time. But in the end, feel really great and confident about who you are and what your business and what your products are, what you're in front of. That is where the magnetic piece happens. Confidence and lack of fear and the ability to lead is exactly what you'll end up with at the end of this playbook, as well as all the things from me. So be able to automate so much of your business. But this is why we want you to attend. I stuck the link, by the way, in the chat. And let me just check to see, are there any questions, guys? Cape Cod is here. Kathy says she's shrunk down herself. Well, we've got you, girlfriend. We've got you. That anything else? I can't wait. This is going to be Thursday, the 25th, correct?
Thursday, the 25th. It's $27 to register. You're going to get tools. You're going to get the playbook. You're going to get experts that are going to come in and weigh in. I'm telling you, when you leave, guys, you'll have a checklist, right? And you'll know exactly who it is you're approaching and how you feel about them and what we need to do. So if you say, Karla, I really want to learn automation, right? And these are the people I'm approaching, but you know what? My belief isn't there. That's where I'm going to be able to jump in and give you some tools right there in the moment to create the shift. So,
and that shift has to happen before the result, frankly, right? You can, it's just very, 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 very slow, is create the belief by waiting for results. But in order to get the results, really, you have to have the belief, and you have to have the belief and confidence in yourself and your ability to lead that person. And that's exactly what the amazing Deb Erickson is going to bring to us on Thursday, the 25th. And I did put the link in the chat. Let me just see if there's any extra questions. I know you do. Awesome, Kathy, we got you. Who's all registered? Adrienne is in. Kathy, Kim, good to see you. Any questions, guys? I love this. This is pretty awesome stuff, Deb.
Well, and I tell you what, we're going to have a lot of fun together. So not only are you coming to that, you're coming to some other things we're going to do. I'm going to come to some things you're going to do. We are going to create the 1-2 pair, 1-2 punch pair that everybody in the industry is going to be like, ah. So, jump in and join us. Do not miss this opportunity for the two of us to be able to bring you all the good stuff we have to offer. I'm excited.
And the transformation that's on the table is worth thousands of dollars, not $27. It's the transformation that's on the table for each and every one of you that's here today watching this live and listening to our voices, whether you're here live or on replay.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all I have, Deb. I can't wait to see you again on the 25th. I can't wait to see everybody that's here on the 25th. Shelly just says she's looking forward to it. That's great. Yay.
All right.
All right,
guys. Thanks. All right.
Thanks so much, everybody.
See you soon. Bye-bye.